Have you ever heard about the design flaw that nearly derailed an entire jetliner program? Back in the late 1960s, McDonnell Douglas aimed to compete with Boeing and Lockheed in the booming wide-body jet market. They introduced the DC-10 stylish, three-engine aircraft that promised to be more cost-effective and versatile than Boeing's colossal 747. Airlines were quick to embrace the concept. It could accommodate 270 passengers, operate transcontinental flights, and land on shorter runways. Orders flooded in, and by 1971, the DC-10 was transporting passengers across the US and beyond. However, all was not well behind the scenes. A significant issue would tarnish the DC-10's image in aviation history. The trouble stemmed from the cargo door. Unlike many planes, the DC-10's rear cargo door opened outward rather than inward. This design choice saved cabin space. But it also meant the latches had to endure immense pressure while soaring at altitude. During testing, engineers raised alarms. They cautioned that a failure in the locking mechanism could lead to the door blowing off in flight, causing explosive decompression. McDonnell Douglas fixed a few minor issues, yet regulators approved the plane for service. Then, the fears materialized. In June 1972, American Airlines Flight 96 took off from Detroit. Shortly after leaving, the rear cargo door blew off. The cabin floor partially collapsed, jamming flight controls and almost jeopardizing the aircraft. By sheer luck and quick thinking, the crew managed to land safely. No lives were lost, but this incident unveiled a fatal flaw. Investigators insisted on urgent redesigns. McDonnell Douglas promised enhancements. Unfortunately, less than 2 years later, tragedy struck again. In March 1974, Turkish Airlines Flight 981 took off from Paris, heading to London. Minutes into the flight, the cargo door failed again. This time, the decompression was devastating. The cabin floor tore open, cutting control cables. The aircraft lost control and crashed into a forest near Paris. All 346 individuals on board perished. This was the deadliest aviation crash at that time. The world reacted with outrage. The DC-10's reputation was shattered. Passengers were terrified to fly it. Some airlines pulled their orders. McDonnell Douglas scrambled to reinforce the doors, bolster the cabin floor, and regain confidence. Yet, the damage was irreversible. The DC-10 became synonymous with engineering oversights and corporate pressure. It earned nicknames like Death Cruiser and the plane with a built-in self-destruct. Cargo operators and some airlines flew it after making it safer. Later versions even excelled as refueling tankers for the US Air Force. NASA also utilized a DC-10 for zero-gravity training. Eventually, the DC-10's crash rate leveled out with its competitors. However, the earlier tragedies left a lasting mark on its brand. McDonnell Douglas never fully regained its reputation, eventually merging with Boeing in 1997. The DC-10 imparts a crucial lesson: in aviation, one minor flaw can turn a promising aircraft into a nightmare. When the public loses trust, no engineering fix can truly mend it. Today, only a handful of DC-10s continue to operate as freighters or military aircraft. However, its story remains among the most cautionary tales in aviation. The saga of the DC-10 highlights not just a design failure but also a serious miscalculation in how the industry approached risk. As orders dwindled, McDonnell Douglas faced growing pressure from airlines and consumers craving reassurance. Safety reports circulated, questioning the integrity of the once trusted aircraft. Despite attempts to fix the issues, doubt loomed over each flight. Engineers worked diligently, conducting tests and simulations to avoid repeating history. But public sentiment had shifted, skepticism became rampant among travelers, casting a shadow on the fleet's future. Amidst the uncertainty, new challenges arose. Major airlines, once supporters of the DC-10, began to step back due to fears of negative press and potential losses. Competitors seized the opportunity, promoting their aircraft as safer options. The media amplified the scrutiny on the DC-10, with headlines painting a grim picture of its legacy. Meanwhile, McDonnell Douglas raced to address concerns, increasing safety measures while facing declining sales. Airlines frequently grounded aircraft as a cautionary step to rebuild confidence. In McDonnell Douglas's hallways, executives held urgent discussions, facing a sobering truth. Their once lauded aircraft was now labeled a liability. Strategies emerged to reassure stakeholders, but solutions felt like mere band-aids for a deep issue. Repeatedly, the board examined plans to rebrand the DC-10 and restore its safety reputation. They launched PR campaigns highlighting modifications made to the aircraft, but skepticism hung in the air with each new update. Regaining trust proved incredibly challenging. In a final attempt for recovery, McDonnell Douglas enlisted renowned safety experts to overhaul their protocols and rebuild trust with airlines and passengers. Transparency became key. They promised to share data from comprehensive research and held town hall meetings with flying public. However, confidence in the DC-10 remained fragile. Although new safety measures were welcomed, many wondered if they were just temporary fixes to a persistent problem. Over the following months, the industry watched closely, hoping to witness a revival or more failures. McDonnell Douglas knew they had to do more than change the design, they needed to shift the narrative. Investing significantly in outreach, they sought to re-establish ties with airlines operating the fleet and the passengers flying in it. As testimonials emerged about safe flights and happy travelers, the tide of opinion slowly began to change. The once reviled aircraft re-entered discussions as a viable option for carriers seeking reliability. As years went by, the DC-10 experienced unexpected redemption. Each reported successful flight began to foster a sense of normalization. Despite its past tragedies, a renewed dedication to safety ushered in a period of stability, easing public apprehension. Regular safety audits and updated training protocols became the norm, overshadowing its troubled history. Gradually, the DC-10's narrative shifted from skepticism to cautious acceptance, showcasing its capabilities and McDonnell Douglas's commitment to learning from past failures. Yet, amidst this cautious acceptance, remnants of its past lingered. Some passengers still whispered about the tragedies connected to the DC-10, haunted by its legacy. Airlines, previously wary, began cautiously considering it for their fleets, only after thorough evaluations of its updated safety measures. The airline industry had transformed, adapting to a landscape where passenger confidence was paramount, while the memory of the past loomed large. McDonnell Douglas recognized that to eliminate the stigma, it needed to cultivate stronger relationships, creating advocates who could share positive experiences and reaffirm the aircraft's legacy in aviation. The DC-10's journey highlights a significant truth: in aviation, a single oversight can lead to the downfall of innovation and reshape a legacy through resilience. Although the scars from its history remain, the aircraft's evolution shows that trust, once lost, can be rebuilt through commitment and perseverance.